Krypton Season 2 Episode 1 is finally here, having premiered on June 12th, 2019. And here I am, William Choppy, with Fred Stover with TGeekdom, and we're going to give you our quick recap. The show starts 6 months after the end of Season 1 with Zod giving a speech to his people about saving Krypton from Brainiac, with the rankless freed and all able-bodied Kryptonians enlisted into Zod's army to conquer worlds on the behalf of Krypton. Adam Strange shows up, walking around, having come from the future under Zod's rule. As he runs from some guards, he is captured by Jax. Adam awakes to find out Mama Zed is who had him captured, and it is revealed that Seg has a son. Adam reveals he went back to the future, but his world was conquered by Zod and his hometown was bottled by Brainiac, and he explains that Zod doesn't plan to conquer worlds and rule them, but terraforms them to make them habitable for Kryptonians. Everyone becomes hopeful that if Brainiac could escape the Phantom Zone, then maybe Seg did. 2. In order to stop Zod, they plan to take the fight to the Sagittari under Zod on the Kryptonian moon of Wegthor. On the moon, Zod is mining the stellarium needed to produce the warp fuel that will allow Zod's fleet to conquer the galaxy. Cut to some woman being tortured to find out where Doomsday is. Lyta is helping her son Zod and proposes a plan to flesh out the rest of the Resistance. She proposes that Zod search for Doomsday and let her continue hunting the Resistance leaders, though Zod is skeptical since the Resistance leaders were once Lyta's allies, but she suggests that's why she knows how to find and capture them. During this time, we keep cutting to Seg in the Phantom Zone, seeing different possible futures, including one where he sees Zod kill Lyta with his bare hands. He comes across a projection of Val-El, who tells him he always had what he needed to escape the Phantom Zone. All he needs to do is take his Sunstone and pierce a veil. However, once he does and the veil opens to leave the zone, he turns to see that his grandfather was Brainiac playing a trick on him, and they both leave the Phantom Zone. Seg and Brainiac end up on Brainiac's homeworld, Colu, where he explains his trickery and that him and Seg must work together if they're going to survive, before Seg eventually attacks. Cutting back to Krypton, upon learning that she is a clone of the original Nyssa Vex, Nyssa has been searching for answers. Using what she learns from Jax about her father's origins, she searches for him in his home city of Barak. Nyssa gets a tip that leads her to her father working in the sewers and demands answers about who she was before the accident and what she is now, but before her father can provide those answers, he is killed in an ambush by Lyta. Lyta then takes Nyssa and her son Kor Vex to Zod, and Zod uses her son as ransom for Nyssa to convince the Resistance to stop fighting. The remaining Sagittari force Mama Zed to lead them to the Resistance base of operation in Kandor. During the attack, Adam Strange covers the retreat so that Val and Jax can escape, then Zeta beams himself to wherever Seg is, even at the risk of being killed upon trying to access the Phantom Zone. Cutting back to the planet, we see that Seg has killed Brainiac by bashing his head in with a large stick. Adam arrives on Colu. Adam eventually brings Seg around and tells him that he has fixed the Zeta beam device to transport the both of them to Krypton, but the planet's magnetic field is keeping them from using it. The pair bicker for a moment, but stop their bickering when they hear a nearby howl and take off running. They eventually come to an opening with Lobo, who blasts Adam and knocks out Seg. After we get a funny moment of Lobo trying to ask questions before realizing he should have done it before he knocked them out, Lobo chains the two together and drags them away. So that brings us to the end of Season 2, Episode 1. Fred, I think I got everything, but do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered everything, man. I do wish they had added some more information about Lobo, because I'm one of those people that hasn't read the comics to know enough about Lobo. So I've been kind of lacking in that area.
Well, and I'm definitely one of those people. I remember Lobo from some of the animations and in some of the comics I've read. Having looked it up before we did this podcast, the only thing I really know about him that I imagine will transfer into the show itself is that if you look at the post-New 52 and the pre-New 52, it really just seems like Lobo either directly or indirectly is the last of his kind by destroying all of his own people. Between those two variations, there are different reasons on why that happened, but for the most part it really just looks like all his people are dead, he's the last of his kind, and now he's a bounty hunter. But he was really just kind of made to be more of a parody on certain heroes, and if it comes into play in the show itself, we know from the comics that he most likely has a healing factor akin to something along the lines of Wolverine or Deadpool.
Interesting. So that makes him a little similar to Brainiac, actually, since he actually, in this storyline, admitted basically that he had essentially killed off everyone in his world.
Exactly, but we'll just have to see how that plays out. I'd imagine at some point in time, even right now, just kind of the way it's going to play out and looking at some of the trailers, I'd imagine Lobo, if not becoming an ally by becoming a hero, he will at least become an ally by being an anti-hero.
That sounds about right for this series.
But guys, we wanted to give you our recap on Krypton since it was something we did all for season 1. I appreciate you guys joining us. The reason we didn't do it in the same way that we did it all in season 1 was all of those videos had gotten pinged by Warner Brothers. Since they weren't hard pings that would damage the channel, we wanted to leave them up because there really wasn't that information out there the way we did it. But for season 2, we wanted to do it just a little bit different. Thank you for joining us. Please like the channel and subscribe, like the video. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think on Krypton. Let us know where you think the show's going to go from here. And as always, we'll see you next time.